All right, what's up, guys? Good morning, everyone. We're only 2 days away from Election Day. I can't believe I'm saying this to you right now. It's right around the corner. Everyone, for your great feedback for my last video, so I decided to do another one more recent, and we're gonna take a look at the newer polls that came out and any development on the map that we can notice. I decided to take CNN's map today, so we can start off, with their basically their understanding of the current situation, and it seems fair. It seems fair, they put Michigan as a toss-up, Wisconsin, Virginia, Colorado, because these states aren't one for Clinton. And, the gray areas are still fine, and bon. Well, they put some light red states, but we all know what's going to happen to those states. Okay, so let's take a little breakdown state by state. Well, Nevada, I mean, come on. Why is Nevada still gray? Why is it still gray? I mean, okay, we can take a look at Nevada if you want, if you wish, but I mean, this race is over in Nevada. That's what I have to tell you, folks. I mean, I don't think Hillary Clinton stands a chance. You can see the free fall. You can see the rise of Trump. Last poll that had Clinton up, very, very small sample size, big margin of error before the FBI's announcement of the reopening of the case. So, come on, guys, stop talking about Nevada. It is solid, solid Republican. Utah, well, Utah. I mean, I don't think that McMullen is going to make a big difference in this race. You might as well take votes from Clinton. Well, maybe from Trump a little bit, but as we can see, Trump still has a comfortable margin of about 9 points, nine and a half over Clinton. And Republicans are starting to come home. You see Paul Ryan campaigning today. All of these Republicans that once turned their backs on Donald Trump are now jumping on the Trump train. It's not too late, folks. There's still tickets available. Arizona, Arizona gray? Really? Let's take a look at the polls. And guys, remember that every time we take a look at the polls, we can actually give a few points more for Trump every time because there's the because the mainstream media did such a great job at demonizing Trump earlier in the campaign. Some people are afraid to be vocal of their support for the candidate, and it shows in the polls. Well, and there's also oversampling of Democrats and not counting in any first-time voters. But Trump, it's the silent majority. I know, like the Trump train's in full steam, and we see more and more support on social media, at the rallies, and pretty much everywhere. I mean, it's a movement. It's a train running with a full head of steam. Hey, Arizona, look at that spike. That's a 4 point. I mean, she's done, and he's got it. So I don't know why CNN won't even put it as light Democrat or whatnot, but hey, Republican, sorry, but it's definitely Republican. You can count on that. Iowa, well, Iowa, I think it's pretty much done for the Republicans too. That they won it. We're gonna still take a look to make sure, but he's got great support in the Hawkeye state. I mean, he already had a great big lead since a month. He's been campaigning a lot over there, and I think he's connecting very, very well with the voters. So, I mean, look, if Trump is up by multiple points in the polls, which are sometimes misrepresentative of his support, and you know that the voter enthusiasm for Mr. Trump is off the charts. I mean, he's involving people directly in the campaign. You wake up in the morning, you need your Trump fix. You need news. You want to see a rally. You want to catch another one when you come back from work. It's something I think that we will see in the voter turnout. People are going to come out in great, big, huge numbers for Donald Trump. So he's got Iowa. I mean, that's pretty clear. Ohio, well, yeah, we're just going to start off by clarifying these pink areas and put them dark red where they belong. And then we'll move on to some other states. So Ohio, as you can see, Mr. Trump has a comfortable lead. It's a small lead, but hey, you can see a trend here. Trump has been rising since he's been focusing on his speech to restore the manufacturers in the country, whereas Clinton has seen a dip like she did in many states after the FBI reopened her case and whatnot. So a good poll from the Columbus Dispatch had Clinton up by one, but with the oversampling and everything, it's still pretty much a tie for this one, and you can see a definite Trump trend here. So he's got a while. He's got a while. That's my opinion. And hey, you guys, I need love to hear from your comments. Upload your maps if ever you're interested in doing one. It's super simple. Can just do a little screencast. It's just nice to talk about politics at this time of the year. I mean, we're all so excited about the election coming up, and it's very important for my fellow Americans to go out and vote. Bring a friend, bring family, bring anybody that you can, and get them on the Trump train, please. I'm trying to do the same here in Canada, and unfortunately, most of us can't vote. But still, I'm working hard to for Trump to have a better image up here, because here people they can't see through what the media says, and they still think that Trump is a dangerous man and all of this. But we've seen a very, very presidential Trump in the last few weeks. Everybody has to admit this, from Republicans to Democrats. So here is the laughable race in Georgia. As you can see, it's pretty much in the bag, so I will give it to Mr. Trump too. Okay, and for the second congressional district of Maine, well, Mr. Bacon, the incumbent, has been running a very, very good race as of right now. So I would feel comfortable in giving him the district, giving it to the Republican. I think he's gonna have a good victory there over I don't remember her name, but his Democrat opponent. Let's take a look at New Hampshire, folks. What's up with New Hampshire? The live free or die state. I mean, just by looking at the motto of the state, live free or die. Oh well, hey, there it is. I mean, Trump has been surging there. I mean, he was at 37.5 points as of October 22nd. That's like 2 weeks ago. And now look at this, he's skyrocketing. And Clinton, November 1st. 2, 3 days after the announce, and since her campaign is flat, we have to face it. Clinton needs half of the political establishment to campaign for her, and the other half is all big entertainers. And Trump doesn't need that. I mean, he's so charismatic, and he's a showman. And on top of this, he's got policies to talk about, which Hillary Clinton really, well, she doesn't want to talk about her policies because even she knows they're unpopular with the people. So look, she is losing New Hampshire in the last week of the campaign. She has lost it. I mean, I'm giving it to Trump. Look at the polls. I mean, a great, grievous poll. 1,000 people sample. It's very, very recent. Just a few days ago. 2% margin of error. Trump good lead by 2. Well, and all of these here, they're hard to really be credible, but still, they have Trump up by big numbers. And you can see here that, people were shy to voice their support for Trump just weeks ago, but people in the live free or die state, they don't like corruption. And it's become pretty clear that Hillary Clinton is, well, maybe not the most corrupt candidate in US elections history, but pretty darn close to it. So we're going to take a look now at North Carolina. North Carolina, great news in the polls in North Carolina. I mean, even though Hillary Clinton's been bringing out all of these African American celebrities, from Jay-Z, Beyonce, which were the most talked about in the last few days, I think it's clear to the African American population that it's pandering, and like all out pandering. Whereas Trump has a plan for the inner cities and black people, his New Deal that he's been presenting all over the place lately. So I think it's kind of a cheap appeal strategy by Clinton, and that the blacks are starting to see through it. as we can see, Clinton is just crashing. And I mean, even Obama started to campaign for a whole lot in the last few days on taxpayers' money, but we're not gonna go there. And she's crashing. She's just crashing, and Trump is rising like crazy. Hey, you can see he had a lead earlier in the race twice before some democratic induced bombshells came out to get him back in the trailing spot. But hey, he's taking his lead back, and I have a hard time believing that Clinton has been peaking all the way up until Halloween. I mean, that's kind of unrealistic, but hey, who knows? So you can see, Trafalgar had a good poll, a pretty good sample. Trump 5. Hey, that's major in a state where people are afraid to voice their support. This one, margin of error not too good, but +7. When's the last time we saw Trump +7? It's been a long time. And right now, the train is coming to the station with a full head of steam like we've never seen in the campaign before. I mean, his campaign right now is at its highest point since it began, even higher than after the convention, in my opinion. So, North Carolina, folks, whether you like it or not, is gonna go Republican, like it used to be before Barack Obama's 2 terms. Hey, we're starting to have a close race here 268 for Clinton, 240 for Trump. Let's take a look at Florida, guys, if we can. Florida polls. I mean, Trump's got something going on in Florida, doesn't he? I mean, every time he gets to do rallies in the Palm Springs or when he hits Tampa, it's always crazy. I mean, you saw him when he held the kid up yesterday, the cutest little kid ever in his USA outfit. I mean, listen, if Clinton were to do that, it would be plastered all over media outlets all around the world. I mean, it's the cutest thing ever. But hey, since it's Trump, they want to talk about it, but not so much. So as you can see in Florida, well, the polls don't seem to say it's going all that good for us. But you can see we're experiencing a rise since the FBI bombshell came out, and surprisingly enough, Hillary Clinton is experiencing a gigantic rise too, even overtaking us. What is up with that? I mean, she's been campaigning a little bit in Florida, and she seemed to have some okay speeches. I mean, Hillary never really brings the house down, as you might know, but still, she's campaigning, and she's got all her employees doing this. But I don't know, guys. Look at this. Trump had a lead in September, and I mean, the last month, apart from the Billy Bush tape, has been amazing for Trump. And he's been there's been Latino for Trump support that's been expressed out loud, African American support that's been expressed out loud. So, guys, this one, I mean, I can't back myself up with these polls right here. Although, when we take a better look, big sample, tied. This one, Clinton for a 4% margin of error, 600 people, registered voter. I think this one, the results are skewed a little bit. Gravis, great poll. 1,200 people, 2.2 margin. Clinton, 2. Remember, guys, the people, first time voters are not on there. Democrats are oversampled. People are afraid, some people are afraid to voice their support for Trump, and that is sad. That's really, really sad. But that's one of the great strategies, I guess, that the Democrats employed against Trump, even though I think it's very, very dirty and almost unprecedented to try to destroy a candidate as much as they try to do with Donald Trump, which is a great, charismatic man. I mean, we can't state that enough. And you can see there's various polls stating that Trump's leading, and most of the polls that have Clinton leading are in the higher 3 point somethings and 4% margin of errors. Keep that in mind, folks. And it's his second home. Trump gets Florida. Yes, he is. He's getting Florida. Let's take a look at Virginia right now. I mean, Virginia, Kenny. Guess what? Florida. Okay, we'll leave it at this, and we'll come back to it later. Virginia. Is it going smooth in Tim Kaine's state? Well, it seems like they have a comfortable lead, and I would be very, very, very surprised to see Trump taking Virginia. I feel comfortable giving it to the Dems. Michigan, yeah, I heard a lot of you in the comments telling me that Michigan is actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. So let's take a quick look at the polls. I mean, Michigan, I know that he had some great rallies. You could see the crowd was fired up. He brought out Bobby Knight, and Lord was Trump low in the polls a few times ago. But look at this rise. It's a meteoric rise from 35% all the way up to 42% in the span of 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Okay, I'll be fair. I can do a little bit of math. It's something, folks. It is something. And we saw that Clinton can have some drops at sometimes. So Michigan is not. I don't think like it's game over. I'll give it to the Dems, but who knows? Anything can happen on election night on November 8th. Anything. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see a landslide victory for Trump, or just a clean win for Clinton. I guess that could happen too. I would be very, very surprised. Heck, I even bet a few $100s on Trump to win this election with all the signs I see online. I studied a lot of social media reaction, guys. You know, who's posting on the conservative outlets, who's posting on the progressive outlets, and what are the most liked comments in both states. And I will tell you that right now, the Trump train has taken over the internet. It's crazy. It used to be Democrats, progressive, liberals post everywhere bashing Trump, but now you can look up Hillary Clinton's page on Facebook and you will see in the comments, the most liked comments are people that are basically destroying her or saying she's dishonest or whatnot. So it's very, very telling, my friends. I'll tell you what, it is very telling. We will see this on election day. Wisconsin's going to be a close race, but still a few points for Clinton. So might as well give it to her so I don't sound too partisan. And that's okay. I mean, you guys notice that I'm a Trump fan. I mean, I can't hide it. I love Mr. Trump too much. But I mean, this is it's an I guess we could say it's an optimistic view of the electoral map, but it's pretty realistic. I mean, I'm not flying off the page here saying we're gonna get Cali and all of this. It's based on actual observations that have been conducted over a full year. The curious case of Colorado, my friends. Curious case. Trump has been doing great in Colorado. I mean, typically very Democrat state, but look at this here. He had a good. He was leading for a while. Okay, bad Trump news came out. I think here it was the tax thing that came out around that time. It was a bit hard for him, but look at this. He's closing in on her. He's closing in, folks. And once again, few polls. Gravis poll. I mean, Gravis. They get some great polls out. We're gonna have to give them that. About 1,100 people, 2.9 margin of error, dead tie. I mean, it might be a few points more for Clinton, but remember, we can always assume Trump has a little more. So Colorado, nah, we'll keep it for later. Pennsylvania, let's take a look. Penn State, quicker state. I've heard that the Amish people are going to come out in a great big number for Mr. Trump on election day. I saw that on various outlets and various reports. I don't know how much of what's the percentage of the population in Pennsylvania, but whenever you have a movement going on and a group of people going all in your direction, it's great news. And I do not think that Hillary Clinton will sweep away the black and Hispanic votes just like Mr. Obama did a few years ago. I think it's going to be very, very more split than they can ever think of. With Trump exposing the reality that Democrats, they want the votes from the minorities, They say, yeah, yeah, we'll do all kinds of great things for you, and then they don't get jack for the next 4 years. But then they get pandered to again. So as you can see, Pennsylvania, Trump rising, Clinton falling. So what to make of this? I mean, tough call. Look here, Clinton plus 6, ridiculous. 5.5 margin of error, done. You know, every time they do polls on a week span, on a weekly span, I don't really like to give importance to those polls. Polls that are realized in 1 or 2 days are the best. You can see here Clinton a double-digit lead for a while in the polls, and now it's shrink. It's shrinked, my friend. It's crazy. It shrunk. I'm sorry, it shrunk. Look at this tie. So I mean, insane. I mean, it's crazy. And don't forget, it's heavy on the manufacturers in Pennsylvania. And where do they go? Down south, my friend. Down south, overseas, Asia. People are pissed off, in my opinion, in Pennsylvania, and they want someone who thinks America first once again. So, guys, okay, and there's the districts of Nebraska. To be honest, I did a lot of research, but those I have no clue. I know that right now it's a Democrat that's incumbent, I think, in this one, and look, it might be the single electoral vote that wins this thing in the end. Like, we can't forget this. This one, and in Maine, it's those votes might turn out to be crucial. Like, very, very, that they could tilt the balance. So here, as we take a look at this, well, okay, let's take Nebraska away. You know, okay, we don't know about Nebraska for sure. Bacon, I think he's got this one. So, hey, 239 to 240. With really, I think, only 3 states that are still legit up to in play. Because even North Carolina, I'm sorry, it flipped. New Hampshire, it flipped. Too late. It's too late to repair the damages. Clinton doesn't even. Well, I think she sends people to New Hampshire, but you can see that Trump has a great connection with the people over there. And in North Carolina, I think his message is resonating great with the African American communities. Basically, Colorado is going to be toss up, Pennsylvania, and Florida. So, I mean, Trump would need to. Trump needs Florida. Let's face it, Trump needs Florida. I'm confident he's going to get it, even though it's not done yet. He's got a great shot at taking Colorado. I can still see it go to the Democrats, but you know, Colorado, there are a lot of people that are gonna vote Johnson, vote Stein. It's gonna be very, very hard to guess Colorado. I mean, but you know, I'll give it to the Dems. Don't want to be too controversial on here. It's really Pennsylvania and Florida is where it's gonna go down this election, pretty much, and Trump needs Florida. Just like Clinton needs it. It's the biggest state that's left, but I don't know Trump when he goes to Florida, the crowds just go crazy in every city he goes. Huge crowds, you know, it's his second home as he claims all the time. He's got it. Pennsylvania, he's got it. He's got Pennsylvania. And even if it goes Democrat, would you look at that? It's gonna go down to the last state here. If it goes Trump, we're good, folks. If it goes Clinton, we have a deadly tie. What happens then? I have no clue. But it's looking good for us, and it's looking grim for the bad guys because Pennsylvania, we have great chances of winning it. Colorado, great chances of winning it too. Nebraska, I mean, it's in the heartland after all, and the heartland is feeling Trump these days. So folks, I hope you all go out and vote. Thank you so much for watching my vid. And leave some comments. I'll reply to every single one of them, I swear. And exactly, upload your maps. I want to know what you're thinking about this. I mean, am I crazy? Does this make sense? So thank you so much for watching, guys.